Hello, Dr. Mindy Shaw here, and welcome to another episode of Teaching Humanity Remotely. There are a number of topics that people are asking me to address, so I'm going to take a topic a week, and we're going to review certain things, and we're going to learn some new things. But one thing that I think is really important during this renewal, this new year, this new beginning, is how do we feel like we're enough? So I'm a person, as a young person, who is always an overachiever. And quite frankly, my experience with overachievers, I would say this is lawful, but there may be exceptions. But for myself and for those that I know who are overachievers, I'm an overachiever, I'll speak for myself, because I never felt enough. I never felt good enough. I would need to get A's in college. I would need to get very good grades in high school. And I would rationalize this need to say, this is how the professors will respect me. My teachers will like me more. But the reality of the situation is it was about me respecting me feeling I was more deserving if I was better or best at something. So I do think that the only competition that I have is the competition with myself. In the world, I want to be cooperative. So I want to do my best, not at the expense of making someone do their worst. I just want to do my best. But I also I'm still learning to feel okay when my best might not be that A. If, for example, my best in a certain thing is only a B, I really want to be okay with that because I can't be great at everything. Now, I'm very good at understanding what my skill set is and what my skill sets are not. And I really am okay with never learning how to, let's say, do mechanics on a car. Really fine with that. Like, it's not like I judge myself. But if it's something I do, I still have a need to really do it well. And I am wanting in my semi-retirement to be able to just feel good every single day just because of my being, not because of my doing. I was talking to a woman who is married to a man, and there are 6 brothers in the family. And the woman was explaining to me that what made this mom of these 7 brothers and 1 daughter, 8 children, what made her so great is that she had her children just feel good about their being and not having to always do something. And I really admire this woman so much. So as we work in these podcasts where we're trying to foster our children to be their best, and we want them to be contributing members of society as they grow and learn, and we want them to celebrate diversity and all the values that we have collectively, where do we teach them that if they're really doing their best, it's really something to celebrate and it's good enough? And in fact, sometimes it's okay not to do anything. Sometimes we're tired, and sometimes we are allowed to just love ourselves through our laziness in a moment. You know, it's really important to balance. Life is all about balance. So I just want to make sure that we are working, but we're noting and marking it. So what I don't want to foster is I don't want to be a helicopter parent where I save the day for my children. And I don't want to teach them to not honor their commitments. But I also want to teach them that it's really okay to have downtime, that who they are, as long as they're kind and compassionate and friendly, is really good enough. If they see someone who needs help, if they're willing to open up a door for somebody, it doesn't mean that they have to carry the person themselves across the doorway, but doing what they can, and sometimes doing nothing and being okay with that. So I just want to say, as an adult, I'm still learning to be okay with who I am and not feel like I constantly have to contribute. That's such a strong need that I still have. I don't feel it's really for validation of others. I don't think that's it. It's just in me to feel good about myself. And I need to feel like, you know what? Some days I might not meet anyone to be contributing to. Just being positive, being kind to my family, not being so snappy in my household, that's really more than good enough. So I just wanted to share that as we are encouraging our children, teachers encouraging their students to be their best, also understanding that part of being your best is knowing when it's okay to totally stop. Again, I think it's very important to make the distinction between honoring a commitment and seeing something through versus not wanting to do something and not having to do it at that time. And really, self-love means working towards unconditional self-love. And I see that in my own life, I still have conditions on myself. I still feel best when I'm doing something for someone else. And I need to be continuing to work on that. And I am. Because this is such an important subject for me, as someone who is no longer a young person in the world, I wanted to make sure that as we do these podcasts, I'm sharing that it's about balance and it's about loving yourself and liking yourself just because you are a unique being in the world and you are good enough. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work, but it means that there's a time for work and there's a time for rest and there's a time for relaxation. And the important piece of it all is that balance. I need to live a balanced life. That's what healthiness is. And a balanced life says that sometimes I can overindulge and other times I'm going to underindulge and sometimes it's going to be just right. A balanced life means exactly what it is: to have fun, to work, to know when to rest, and to be okay with myself in all aspects. And when I'm not, to remember my intention is to have self-love. And there is a degree of unconditional love when I can have that. I want it for my children. I want it for my friends. I want it for my community. And so how can I have it for myself? So again, it has to do with noting and marking. We are what we model to our children. Our actions speak louder than words. So let's make sure that we are incorporating this kind of balance where we're teaching our children that they don't always have to do to be loved. They can be enough just by being themselves. All right, until next time, please feel free to email me at learnwithmeremotely@gmail.com and feel free to see my author's page at Dr. Mindy Shaw, Amazon paperbacks. Be well.